There are quite a lot of places of historic interest. Unfortunately, the owners of these vessels, the operators, do not see the point of having tour guides on board. They will not pay you to have tour guides. And look at the largest tower with the Union Jack. That is the Queen Victoria Tower. That is where all the ballot papers are stored after each and every general election. And they're stored in there for 1 year and 1 day before being destroyed by fire. Now, directly to the right of us is the Westminster Road Bridge, the only bridge to span the River Thames, which has 7 arches. Looking to the right, we see this large Ferris wheel. That is, of course, the London Eye, put there for our Millennium celebrations for the year 2000. That wheel above the rail system is a section of the London Underground, which passes, but we are through the bridge. If you look to your right, you will see there is a glass-fronted building. This building is the Royal Festival Hall, and it is the last remaining building of the 1951 Festival of Great Britain. It is a concert hall and is fully soundproofed owing to those noisy rail systems which run directly along. In later years, that building went on to be government offices, and it housed the registers for all the births, deaths and marriages in this country, locally known as Hatcham, Matcham and Dispatcham. For the Honourable Company of Master Mariners, the old retired sea captains. Now look as we pass by this ship. If you look, now keep looking to the left, and at the moment, slightly ahead of us, you'll see these buildings. There is a red brick building there, Gothic style, looks a bit like a church. That is in fact Sion College. It is a library. It houses over 3,000 rare and famous books, including Queen Victoria's personal diary and her Bible. Building next to it, with the green sloping roof and single black pinnacle, that's the old City of London School for Boys. Many famous people were educated in that building, including our wartime Prime Minister, Sir Winston Churchill, also some of our elder statesmen like Lord Attlee and Lord Asquith. Now this bridge ahead of us is the Blackfriars Road Bridge, opened in 1869 by Queen Victoria. It is the second bridge to have stood on this site. Now just before we go through, look at the main supports, these buttresses. You'll see they're shaped like the pulpits of a church. Now they were put here at the express wish of Queen Victoria to commemorate the Blackfriars Monastery, which once stood over there to the left. Now once we are through the Blackfriars Road Bridge, as we pass through this bridge in a moment, look either side, you will see there are 8 red columns. These columns are all that remain of the St Paul's Railway Bridge. It was designed by Isambard and Brunel. It carried the first trains over the Thames. Now as you can see, the top pieces have been removed. This was done in 1983, owing to the fact the bridge became unsafe. The bridge above us, the Blackfriars Railway Bridge, pass through the bridge, look to your right. This large brown building with the chimney, that's the old Bankside power station, built around 1930, fell into disuse. You will find a collection of retrospective artistic pieces. CRA. Over here to the left, dominating the London skyline, is of course the large and impressive dome of St Paul's Cathedral. Now St Paul's is of course Sir Christopher Wren's masterpiece. It took 35 years to build. It stands 365 feet high, 1 foot for each day of the year. Now we've just passed beneath the Millennium Footbridge. Now look over here to our right, just amongst the trees, this interesting white timber framed building with the thatched roof. That building opened in 1997, was all funded by the American film director Sam Wanamaker, and it's the exact working replica of William Shakespeare's Globe, which stood somewhere near there over 400 years ago. Now I say working replica because you can buy tickets and you can go in there and see some of Shakespeare's plays being reenacted. And I'm talking about plays like Romeo and Juliet, and those are the only two that I know. This next bridge ahead of us is the Southwark Road Bridge. It opened in 1922 and it was originally built to ease the congestion on the old London Bridge. Today this bridge is the narrowest and least used of all the London bridges, owing to the fact the approach roads are so difficult to find. Now it's said if you see anyone on this bridge, they are probably lost. So if you see anyone up there, give them a wave and give them a bit of encouragement. Old Anchor Inn of Bankside. Parts of that pub date back to 1615. And it was in the attic rooms of the original building that Shakespeare and his players would use to change when performing their plays at the Old Globe Theatre. Now many famous people have used that pub over the years. Of course, William Shakespeare, also Samuel Pepys, the diarist, Dr. Johnson, Charles Dickens, and of course me. We've all been in that pub, as it is a very nice pub indeed. This bridge we're just about to pass beneath is the old ship. That ship isn't as old as it looks. That ship was built in Appledore, North Devon in 1971 and is a working 5th London bridge to have stood on or very near to this site. The first one was built by the Romans over 2,000 years ago. That eventually fell down. The second bridge was pulled down. The third bridge was built here in 1206 and stood here for around 600 years with the golden ball of flame. It is there to represent a candle, and it is Sir Christopher Wren's monument of the Great Fire of London of 1666. That stands 202 feet high. It's laid down, it's 1,015 feet high, £1 billion each. In London for a few days on a courtesy visit. We often have these ships from other countries coming up and laying alongside the HMS Belfast. This one's been here now for a couple of days. Don't be alarmed by this. The reason we are doing this is because it is not a bad day, it is not raining, so we thought we'd take you a bit closer to the bridge, and in a moment our captain will turn the vessel to our left and while to blend in with the more famous 1894. Now these two central spans you see, they're known as bascules, which is a French word meaning seesaw. Each one of those spans can be raised and lowered in a matter of 90 seconds to allow larger ships. To our right is of course Tower of London. Now look to the centre of all the buildings, okay? It's quite a big building, but if you look to the centre you see the 4 turrets. That is the Norman Keep. That is the oldest part of the Tower of London, or am I? You would have been taken up through that archway onto Tower.